If you ain't sure what's wrong with your patient, it generally takes care of it. Hey, you in there, open up!
Please, madam.
You ought to wash this window.
This is Granny, the popular star of the zany television series The Beverly Hillbillies, Irene Ryan.
Irene Ryan, the beloved actress who played Granny on The Beverly Hillbillies, led a life of fame and fortune. But what happened to her after she retired from acting? And what were the tragic circumstances of her death? What was Ryan's net worth, and who inherited her house? Join us as we dive into the life of Irene Ryan. Beverly Hillbillies, the life-changing show. Before becoming the beloved Granny on the Beverly Hillbillies, Irene Ryan had already spent years in the world of show business. She had worked her way up, earning respect and building a name for herself through various roles, many of them small but significant. By the 1950s, she was well known for her talent and professionalism, though she had yet to land that one role that would truly define her career. That moment came with the Beverly Hillbillies. In the early 1960s, a new sitcom was being created, and it would soon capture the hearts of millions. The Beverly Hillbillies was the story of a poor family who strikes it rich when they find oil and move to Beverly Hills. The show had a fresh, quirky charm, and its success was imminent. Irene, who was already familiar with the demands of show business, saw the opportunity to portray Daisy Moses, known as Granny, the tough and feisty matriarch of the Clampett family. She knew she was perfect for the role, but getting it would not be easy. Although Irene had the experience, the show's creator, Paul Henning, and his team had reservations about her. They weren't sure if she was the right fit for Granny. But Irene wasn't one to back down easily. She took matters into her own hands, contacting Henning directly to express her passion for the role. She shared her belief that an older actress might struggle with the demanding schedule, but she, with her years of experience, would be more than up for the challenge. Her boldness and confidence earned her a second chance. Irene's story about her time in a traveling theater group sealed the deal. She humorously recalled a moment in Arkansas where the audience had to be kept outside before a show because the manager was worried about damaging the theater's wooden seats. This simple, funny tale showcased her timing and understanding of the world Henning was trying to capture. He could see she had the spirit and humor needed for the role. When screen tests began, Irene's transformation into Granny was immediate and undeniable. Another actress, Bea Benaderet, was also considered, but when Irene read for the part, it was clear to everyone who had the role. Bea even turned to Henning and said, "There's your Granny." Irene's portrayal was so authentic that she instantly became the character in the eyes of the cast and crew. When the Beverly Hillbillies debuted in 1962, it quickly became a sensation. The story of the Clampetts and their adjustment to life in Beverly Hills, filled with cultural clashes and hilarious situations, resonated with audiences. Irene Ryan's portrayal of Granny was a standout, making her one of the most beloved characters on television. Fierce and protective of her family, Granny was both tough and lovable, and Irene's performance made her unforgettable. The show quickly rose to the top of the ratings, becoming the #1 show on television just 3 weeks after its debut. It even surpassed entertainment icons like Bob Hope. Irene's role as Granny was not only a fan favorite, but also helped the show remain a cultural touchstone. Despite her success, Irene remained humble and dedicated to her craft. Even as she became a household name, she worried about job security, a fear that stemmed from years of unpredictable work in show business. She understood how quickly things could change and never took her success for granted. Irene was always the first to arrive on set, and she took every role seriously, never letting her fame affect her work ethic. The Beverly Hillbillies ran for 9 seasons, becoming one of the most iconic sitcoms in television history. Irene Ryan, through her portrayal of Granny, cemented her place in the hearts of viewers everywhere. Her performance continues to be cherished, and her journey from minor roles to stardom is a testament to her perseverance, passion, and love for making people laugh. Granny, as many know her, started from somewhere. Let's uncover her early days. What was she like growing up? How far has she gone to build this standard? Let's find out. A star in the making. Irene Ryan's journey to fame began in a small corner of Texas. Born on October 17, 1902, in El Paso, she was the second daughter of Catherine Katie McSherry and James Merritt Noblet. Her father was a strict Army sergeant from North Carolina, and her mother was a lively Irish immigrant. Together, they raised their daughters in a home filled with traditional values and a strong sense of hard work. Irene's older sister, Anna, was 17 years her senior, making Irene the youngest in the family. Even as a young girl, Irene was different. While other kids played and focused on their schoolwork, Irene had a passion that set her apart: performing. At just 11 years old, she had her first taste of the stage when she participated in an amateur contest at the Valencia Theater in San Francisco. She sang Pretty Baby, and her lively performance earned her a $3 prize. Although it wasn't much money, it was a small victory that sparked a lifelong dream of becoming a performer. As Irene grew older, her love for acting only deepened. By the time she was 14, she was eager to start her career, even if it meant breaking the rules. Determined to chase her dream, she lied about her age to get a job with a local stock theater company, even though California's child labor laws said she was too young to work. Her bold move paid off, and she began working in theater, performing night after night. School never excited Irene. After just 2 years of high school, she decided to leave education behind and follow her heart to the stage. Those next 4 years in stock theater shaped her into the actress she was destined to become. Each role helped her grow not just as a performer, but as a person. It was clear that Irene Ryan was meant for the spotlight, and she was ready to make her mark. Irene Ryan's marriage. At the age of 20, Irene Ryan found love with Tim Ryan, a fellow performer known for his sharp wit and comedic talent in vaudeville. Their bond was not just a romance, but a shared passion for performance. This deep connection between them made it natural for them to work together, both on and off the stage. Together, they became a beloved duo, Tim and Irene, captivating audiences with their vaudeville comedy acts. One of their most famous routines was the Dumb Dora skit, where Irene played a charmingly scatterbrained woman whose funny lines had the audience laughing out loud. Her perfect timing and natural charisma often left Tim's character frustrated, making their performances full of energy and fun. Their talent did not go unnoticed. Between 1935 and 1937, they starred in 11 short comedy films for educational pictures, where their unique style of humor stood out. Irene's quirky character was often the highlight of their acts. One of the most popular moments in their performances was Tim's catchphrase, "Will you stop?" So famous that it became the title of one of their films. Their fame grew as they also ventured into radio, taking over for Jack Benny in 1936 to host the Jell-O Summer Show on NBC. For 20 years, Tim and Irene shared not only their love but their careers. However, like many relationships in show business, the pressures of their work eventually led to their divorce in 1942. Despite the end of their marriage, Irene chose to keep the Ryan name professionally, honoring the legacy of their partnership. After the divorce, Irene did not slow down. She continued performing, even taking on new challenges. She toured with Bob Hope, entertaining soldiers during World War II, and spent 2 years on his radio show. In 1943, she returned to film, playing Edgar Kennedy's wife in 2 short films and appearing in the musical Oh, My Darling Clementine. This marked a major shift in Irene's career, proving she was no longer just part of a duo, but a star in her own right. That same year, Irene found love again with Harold E. Knox, a film production worker. While their marriage was quieter than her first, it also did not last, ending in 1961 after 15 years. Irene continued on, focused on her career and passions. Irene Ryan's marriages, full of laughter, growth, and collaboration, shaped her life and career in ways that went beyond the stage. While she never had children, both relationships left a lasting impact on her journey. Through it all, Irene kept performing, chasing her dreams, and making sure her personal life never took away from her shining brilliance on stage. Before starring in the Beverly Hillbillies, Ryan has already started acting and building her career. What movies has she starred in? How good was she before becoming Granny? What road led to this big hit? Let's find out. Irene Ryan's sweet rise to stardom. After making a name for themselves in vaudeville, Irene and Tim Ryan effortlessly transitioned into the world of radio. Their lively, humor-filled act, Tim and Irene, captured the hearts of audiences across the country. One of the most loved parts of their show was the Dumb Dora skit, where Irene played a sweet but scatterbrained character. The chemistry they shared on air made them household names, and soon they were appearing on major shows like The Rudy Valley Show and The Bob Hope Show, spreading their infectious energy to even more fans. Irene's quick wit and vibrant personality were perfect for radio. As her fame grew, so did the opportunities. Alongside Tim, she ventured into film, starring in comedy shorts. Their on-screen partnership was just as charming as their off-screen relationship, and they brought a unique warmth and humor to films like The Wacky Family, 1936. These performances helped solidify their place in entertainment history, showcasing their undeniable talent. However, after 2 decades of marriage, Irene and Tim's personal relationship came to an end in 1943. But even through the ups and downs of life, Irene remained committed to her work. During World War II, she teamed up with Bob Hope on USO tours to entertain American soldiers. Her performances brought comfort, laughter, and a sense of connection to those far from home. Whether at military bases or hospitals, Irene's humor helped lift the spirits of many. Her dedication did not stop there. In 1948, during the Berlin airlift, Irene once again took to the stage for the troops, reminding everyone how laughter can heal even the toughest times. For her, comedy wasn't just a job, it was a way to give back and bring joy to those who needed it most. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Irene's career continued to flourish. She shone in film, often playing fussy or anxious characters who were still endearing. In 1946, she joined The Jack Carson Show on CBS Radio, where she played a quirky shopkeeper running a candy store and lending library, a role that perfectly suited her comedic talents. As television became more popular, Irene embraced the small screen. In 1955, she made her sitcom debut on The Danny Thomas Show. She also appeared in various guest roles, such as in The Real McCoys in 1959, where she starred alongside Walter Brennan in the episode Grandpa's New Job. Other notable TV appearances included Bringing Up Buddy, My Three Sons, and Ichabod and Me, where Irene continued to charm viewers with her unique comedic touch. In 1966, Irene showed her versatility by becoming a contestant and celebrity guest on the popular game show Password. Her sharp wit and quick responses made her a favorite once again, proving her talents went far beyond scripted roles. Memorable movie roles. Irene Ryan's talent shined brightly in many films throughout her career, even before she became famous. While she was best known for her television performances, Irene also left a lasting impact in the world of cinema. Some of her earlier roles included Mrs. Veronica Higbee in Melody for Three, 1941, and Elsie in Reveille with Beverly, 1943, both of which were uncredited appearances. She played a variety of characters, from Gloria Brewster in Melody Parade, 1943, to Irene in The Sultan's Daughter, 1943, showing her range in both comedic and dramatic roles. In 1944, she appeared in films like Hot Rhythm as Polly Kane in San Diego, I Love You as Sheila Jones. Her versatility continued throughout the 1940s, with roles in That's the Spirit, 1945, and The Beautiful Cheat, 1945. Irene also showed her skills in more dramatic films like Diary of a Chambermaid, 1946, and The Woman on the Beach, 1947. Irene's film career was as diverse as it was impressive, with each role adding to the unforgettable legacy she left behind. Let's find out how Irene got to perfectly cast Granny. Let's uncover the secret. The Illusion of Age, how Irene became Granny before her time. When the Beverly Hillbillies premiered in 1962, viewers quickly fell in love with its quirky characters, especially Granny Daisy Moses, the strong-willed matriarch of the Clampett family. Granny was known for her vintage outfits, gray bun, and no-nonsense attitude. With her stories from the 1800s and her strange mountain recipes, Granny seemed like a woman who had lived through it all. But the most surprising thing about Granny wasn't just her tough exterior. It was the actress behind the character, Irene Ryan. At the time, Irene Ryan was just 59 years old, far younger than the character she played, who seemed to be in her 80s. To transform into Granny, Irene went through an incredible makeup process every day. The makeup team worked carefully to add wrinkles and age her skin, while oversized old-fashioned dresses and shoes made her look even more authentic. A gray wig was tightly styled into a bun, and by the time Irene stepped onto the set, she had completely become Granny. Stern, no-nonsense, and unforgettable. In the 1960s, televisions weren't as sharp as today's screens, and viewers watched on black and white or early color TVs. With the makeup effects being so flawless, nobody suspected that Granny was a 59-year-old woman. In fact, even now, many people are surprised to learn how young Irene was when she brought Granny to life. Irene's portrayal of Granny became the highlight of her career. She starred in all 274 episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies, never once letting her energy or enthusiasm for the role fade. Her performance earned her fame, but also a special kind of recognition, one that was often all about her voice. Irene once said that people would pass her by in public without noticing her, but as soon as she spoke, they would stop and turn around. Her voice, full of Granny's fiery spirit, was impossible to miss. Even after nearly 10 years in the role, Irene never wanted to stop playing Granny. Retirement never crossed her mind. She loved acting too much and cherished every moment on stage. For Irene, acting wasn't just a job, it was her true passion. And it showed. Fans flocked to see her portray Granny in person, as she even made special appearances in places like Sydney, Australia. She teased that Granny's iconic apron was packed in her suitcase, ready for the show, and every performance was filled with joy. Off-screen, Irene Ryan was nothing like the tough Granny. She was warm, kind, and full of life. a stark contrast to the strict matriarch she portrayed. With over 50 years of experience in entertainment, Irene had worked in radio, vaudeville, film, and television. The only thing she jokingly claimed to have never done was burlesque, because it wasn't her style. Despite her long career, Irene never thought about slowing down. The idea of retirement was foreign to her. She simply wanted to keep playing Granny for as long as possible. For Irene, acting was a passion she could not imagine walking away from. She was determined to live out her dream until the very last performance. After Beverly Hillbillies, Irene wasn't ready to step out of the spotlight. Instead, she did more. What other films did she cast? How far was she recognized for it? What awards did she receive from all her career in acting? Let's find out. Irene Ryan's second act. After capturing the hearts of viewers nationwide as Granny on the Beverly Hillbillies, Irene Ryan could have easily chosen to remain in Hollywood, enjoying the benefits of her fame. However, rather than pursuing more television or film opportunities, she opted to return to her true passion, the stage. Live theater had always been dear to her, and after years in front of the camera, she yearned for the excitement of performing for a live audience again. When the Beverly Hillbillies concluded in 1971, after 9 successful seasons, Ryan quickly sought her next venture. Having spent years on stage during her early days in vaudeville and stock theater, she was eager to embrace something new and thrilling: Broadway. Even in her 70s, she approached this challenge with enthusiasm and resolve, securing a role that would become one of the highlights of her career. She became part of the cast of Pippin, an innovative musical by Bob Fosse. Ryan was cast as Berta, the spirited and wise grandmother who adds joy, humor, and depth to the narrative. Although her stage time was limited to about 10 minutes, her impact was unforgettable. In those brief moments, she consistently stole the show, particularly with her standout performance of the song "No Time at All." This number quickly became a favorite among fans, and her rendition brought the audience to their feet every night. The applause from the audience was thunderous, and critics took notice. Major publications like the New York Times lauded her performance, astonished by how she could command such attention in such a short span. Fellow actors often found themselves pausing mid-performance, as the audience's cheers following Ryan's number would overshadow their lines. While her role was small, its influence was significant. Irene Ryan received a Tony Award nomination in 1973 for Best Supporting or Featured Actress in a Musical, recognizing her outstanding performance. This was a proud achievement for both her and her fans who had watched her transition from television to the stage. Although she did not win, losing to Patricia Elliott from A Little Night Music, the nomination itself was a significant milestone, especially for someone returning to Broadway later in life. This nomination added to the accolades Ryan had already accumulated throughout her career. While starring in the Beverly Hillbillies, she earned 2 Emmy nominations in 1963 and 1964 for her role as Granny. These nominations highlighted her exceptional talent, demonstrating that she infused genuine emotion and skill into her comedic character. While many remembered her primarily as Granny, Irene Ryan showcased that she was capable of much more. Her success on Broadway served as a reminder that talent can thrive at any age. She brought wisdom, vitality, and charisma to every performance, proving that she could still captivate audiences regardless of the years that had passed. For Ryan, returning to live theater was not just about advancing her career. It was about pursuing her passion. She valued the connection with the audience, the thrill of live applause, and the experience of being fully present in the moment. In a time when television was dominating entertainment, Ryan firmly believed that nothing could replicate the enchantment of a live performance. The final curtain call. In her last days, Irene Ryan demonstrated her profound love for the stage. At the age of 70, while many were enjoying retirement, she made her Broadway debut in the musical Pippin. Audiences were captivated by her performance, and critics lauded her talent. It was evident that even after years in the industry, Irene still had the ability to shine on stage. She sang, danced, and performed with the same enthusiasm she had always shown. However, behind the scenes, her health was deteriorating. On March 10, 1973, during a performance, Irene collapsed on stage, leaving the audience in shock as a vibrant woman was suddenly struck down while doing what she loved. Doctors recommended that she return to California, where she was admitted to St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica. After undergoing several tests, she received heartbreaking news. She had an inoperable brain tumor known as glioblastoma, along with arteriosclerotic heart disease. Despite these serious health challenges, Irene's spirit remained unbroken. She had always believed in giving her all, and she continued to do so until her last performance. Irene Ryan passed away on April 26, 1973, at the age of 70. Her final moments were far from solitary. She passed in the city where she had spent much of her career, just a short distance from the studios, stages, and lights that had once made her famous. She was laid to rest next to her cherished sister Anna in a serene mausoleum at Woodlawn Memorial Cemetery in Santa Monica. Granny might have passed, but she left a fortune behind. Who inherited these luxuries? She had amassed wealth through her career. Who looked after it? Let's find out. Irene Ryan, a fortune that gave back. By the time Irene Ryan passed away, she had built a strong foundation for herself, not just in her career, but also financially. After years of working in theater, film, television, and radio, Irene was careful with her money. She lived modestly, choosing not to indulge in a lavish lifestyle. Instead, she made wise decisions, saving and investing her earnings over the years. When Irene passed away, her net worth was estimated at about $1 million, which was a significant amount for her time. But it wasn't just how much she earned that made her remarkable. It was what she chose to do with it. Without children or a spouse to inherit her estate, Irene decided to make a lasting impact in a different way. She established the Irene Ryan Foundation, leaving her entire estate to help students pursuing careers in theater. This decision reflected her deep love for the stage and her understanding of the struggles young performers face. Through her foundation, Irene created scholarships that opened doors for students who might not have had the chance to follow their dreams without financial help. What started as a career driven by her passion for acting became a legacy that helps the next generation of actors chase their dreams, just as she had done. Irene Ryan's story did not end with her final curtain call. Her commitment to the arts lives on, inspiring and supporting young talent for years to come. Her legacy is not just about the roles she played or the laughter she brought. It's about the lives she continues to touch, making the world a little brighter for those who dream of following in her footsteps. Inside Irene Ryan's forgotten home. Beyond the bright lights of television and the applause of the audience, there's a quieter part of Irene Ryan's life, one that remains hidden, tucked away in the abandoned house where she once lived. Unlike the glamorous homes viewers admired on screen, Irene's real house was simple and unpretentious. No marble floors or sparkling chandeliers, just a cozy home filled with warmth. After Irene passed away in 1973, her house was left to the mercy of time. Slowly, nature took over. Vines crept through broken windows, and the once clear paths became overgrown. The paint peeled away, the wood wore down, and a deep silence filled every room. Urban explorers who dared to step inside describe it as a step back in time. Dusty furniture sits untouched. Old newspapers from her acting days lie scattered around, and faded photos in worn frames whisper stories of a different era. Even remnants of her career, scripts, notes, and other mementos are left behind, forgotten, but still there. Though Irene generously used her wealth to create the Irene Ryan Foundation and support young actors, this home tells a different tale. It's not about fame or fortune, but about the life of a woman who worked hard, stayed true to herself, and spread joy to others. Today, the house may be aging and decaying, but it still stands as a quiet tribute to Irene Ryan. It's a reminder that behind every beloved character, there's a real person, with a story that's just as important as the roles they played. Let's look at the legacy she left for the world through her career, a legacy of laughter and inspiration. Irene Ryan's impact on the entertainment world and beyond continues to shine brightly, even decades after her passing. Known to millions as Granny, Irene was much more than a beloved television character. She was a guiding light, both on and off screen, whose legacy lives on in the hearts of those who admired her humor, kindness, and dedication to her craft. Her co-star, Buddy Ebsen, once described her as a joy to work with, a sentiment shared by many who had the pleasure of knowing her. Irene's genuine warmth and positive attitude were felt by everyone she worked with, whether it was fellow actors, crew members, or fans. Her laughter was infectious, and her presence could light up any room. Despite her fame, she remained humble and approachable, never letting the spotlight overshadow her true self. Irene's career spanned across vaudeville, radio, film, and television, leaving behind a rich and varied body of work. But her greatest legacy isn't just her iconic role as Granny. Irene's impact extends far beyond her characters. Her real-life generosity and commitment to the arts have touched the lives of many. Through the Irene Ryan Foundation, she created opportunities for young, aspiring actors to pursue their dreams, something she herself had done so many years ago. Her foundation continues to provide scholarships to students in need, giving them the chance to follow their passions just as she did. Even though her home may now be abandoned and forgotten by many, Irene's legacy is as strong as ever. Her humor, kindness, and determination made her an inspiration to others, especially to women in an industry that wasn't always easy for them. She showed that being kind, funny, and hardworking could take you far, and that with perseverance, even the most unlikely of dreams could come true. In the end, Irene Ryan wasn't just Hollywood's Granny. She was a woman who lived her life with love, laughter, and a deep respect for her craft. Her legacy remains, not only in the roles she played, but also in the hearts of those who remember her for who she truly was. A talented, generous, and inspiring woman who made the world a better place. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.